name is Ron Chua Chang-yong. Today I would like to talk about the biography of Antoni Gaudí. Antoni Gaudí, the son of a boiler maker, was born in Reus in 1852. Gaudí spent his childhood between Reus, where his parents had their business. Frequent contact with nature may have been one of the factors that stimulate two of the abilities which were to become crucial in the development of his work: the observation and meticulous analysis of the natural world. Thank you. Antoni Gaudí studied at a prairie school in Reus for his secondary education. During his adolescence, Gaudí formed a strong relationship with two of his friends, Euler Toda and Josep Ribera. The three young men were enthusiastic about nature and interested in history, and were very fond of going on excursions. On one of these outings, Josep Ribera brought his friends to an abandoned building that he had discovered, the ruins of the Santa Maria de Poblet monastery. The three youths made a resolution to restore the ancient building. Of their enthusiastic, youthful project, all that remained is a floor plan drawn by Gaudí, who must have been about 15 at the time, and a note written by his companions. For Gaudí, that experience was undoubtedly a short time afterward, Gaudí moved to Barcelona to study the final year of his secondary education and to do the foundation course at the School of Architecture. By the time, Gaudí had already distinguished himself as a result of his creative genius and through a flair for calculus. From early on in his studies, the brilliant architect was hard at work in the studios of eminent professors and masters of the craft such as Francisco Paul La Villa and Josep Ponce. It was in the studio of the latter that Gaudí achieved the first recognition of his work. On his own initiative, he corrected a task that had been given to a fellow student, designed a water tank for the Cascada fountain in Parc de la Ciutadella. Upon graduation, Gaudí initially walked in the artistic vein of his Victorian predecessor, but he soon developed his own style, composing his work with juxtapositions of geometric masses and animating the surface with pattern break. In 1910, a major exhibition of Gaudí's work opened in the Grand Palace Inn, and this was the only exhibition outside of Spain dedicated to the architect during his lifetime. On the 7th of June 1926, he was knocked down by a tram while on his way to the church before going to the building site of the Sagrada Familia. He died on the 10th of June in Hospital de la Santa Cruz. His funeral was held 2 days later and was attended by a troop of his many admirers, disciples, and friends. Thank you.
Gaudí's professional life was particular in that he never stopped to investigate mechanical building structures, Early on, Gaudi was inspired by Oriental arts through the study of historicist architectural theoreticians such as Walter Pater, John Ruskin, and William Morris. During his time as a student, Gaudi was able to study a collection of photographs of Indian, Persian, Chinese, and Japanese art owned by the School of Architecture. The collection include Moorish monuments in Spain, which leave a deep mark on him and serve as an inspiration in many of his work. Gaudi moved toward then in its heyday. Modernism in its earlier stage was inspired by historical architecture. Its practitioner saw its return to the past as a response to the industrial form imposed by the Industrial Revolution technological advances. Create many special design like the four-arm cross, and that is one of the most typical features of Gaudian work. And another work by Gaudin is the Salamander in Park Grill, has become a symbol of Gaudin works. Theatrical forms is the study of nature, like hyperbolic, paraboloid, and the hyperboloid, the helicoid, and cone, which reflect the forms of Gaudin found in nature. Gaudi found abundant example of them in nature, for instance in rushes, reeds, and bones. And he said that there is no better structure than the trunk of a tree or a human skeleton. The nerve in the Sagrada Familia with a hyperboloid valve. Inspiration from nature is taken from a tree as the pillar, and branches symbolize trees raising out to the roof. Yeah. Gaudins also stood out as the interior decorator, decorating most of his building personally, from the furnishing to the smaller details, from the beginning of a desk for his office at the beginning of his career to the furnishings designed for the Sobrello Palace of the Comilians. The example of his interior design is the interior of the Kaiser Wisens.
Gaudi work is normally classed as modernism, and it belong to this movement because of its eagerness to renovate without breaking with the tradition, and also it requests for modernity, the ornamental sense applied to his work, and the multidisciplinary character of his undertaking, whereby craftsmanship play a central role. Meanwhile, to this, Gaudi adds to those of the Baroque, adopts technical advance and continue to use traditional architecture language, together with his inspiration from some nature and the original task of his work. This amalgam gives his work their personal and unique character in the history of architecture. Gaudi's first work, both from his student days and the time just after his graduation, stand out for the precision of the detail, the use of geometry and prevalence of mechanical consideration in the structure calculation. During his study, Gaudi was designed various projects, among which the following stand out. For example, a symmetric gate, a Spanish pavilion for the Philadelphia Warfare, a cross-side building, a courtyard for the Diputature de Barcelona, and also the monumental fountain for the Palace in Barcelona. For 1915 year, Gaudi was devoted himself almost exclusively to his magnum opus, the Secretaria Familiaris, a synthesis of his architect evolution, which is the largest church in the world. After completion of the crypt and the apse, still in Gothic style, the rest of the church is conceived in an organic style, imitating natural shape with the abundance of roof surface. He intended the interior of resemble a forest, with inclined column like branching tree, helicarter in form, creating a simple but steady structure. Gaudi applied all of his previous experimental findings in this project. One structurally perfect, harmony and aesthetically satisfying. The Secretaria Familia has a cruciform plan with a fifth axial nave, a transept of 3 axials, and an apse with 7 chapels. Each has 3 factors dedicate to birth, passion, and glory of Jesus Christ. And when complete, it will have 18 towers, the 4 of each side making a total of 12 for the apostles, 4 on the transept invoking the evangelist, and 1 of the apse dedicated to the Virgin, which is called Maria, plus the central tower in honor of Jesus Christ, which is reached 170 meters height. The church will have 2 secretive adjacent to the apse and 3 largest chapels, 1 for the Assumption in the apse and the baptisms and the Baptismus and the Penitence chapels at the west end. Also, it will be surrounded by a closer design for the precision and to isolate the building from the exterior. Gaudi used higher symbiotic content in the Secretaria Familia.
was now a beloved artist who created such pretty works as Sagrada Familia and Parkview. He used his love of nature to give life to her paintings. Although Gaudí had a more promising start to his architectural career, his abode was not an as poetic, or maybe it was, but depending how you look at it. Early enough, Gaudí was not a favorite among his peers when he was first starting out. He was ridiculed and put down as an artist. Even George Orwell, who during the Spanish Revolutionary War had stayed in Barcelona, detested Gaudí's work. But this did not deter the great architect, and later as time passed, Gaudí found himself to be more and more popular and famous. Today, he is loved by most and prized as the most original architect in the history. There is a sad case for Gaudí. There is one of his greatest works of art, the Sagrada Familia, will prove to never be completed. Mostly this art was due to death that he had experienced in his life. The death of his nearest mosaic in 1912 proved to be most difficult for him. His death was followed by a close collaborator, Francesc Berenguer Mestres. Besides this hard death, Barcelona itself began to fall under hard times. And after 4 years later, another death occurs in the Gaudí life. His patron, Eusebio Gaudí, had fallen into harsh times. He began to feel to be photographed and interviewed by reporters. All the architect wanted to do was focus on his love, Sagrada Familia. About the Gaudí's death, the things did not become better for Gaudí as the time went on. On the 7th of June 1936, the architects was hit and run over by a train. The architects are recognizable. Gaudí was dressed in red and had a bouquet on this day. So many people who passed him by left him on the street will feel that he would not able to pay. Although Gaudí was eventually taken to what would be known as a poor hospital, still no one recognized him as an artist. It was not until his friends found him the next day that his true identity was known. Gaudí's friend begged to have him moved to a better hospital, but Gaudí refused. He said, "I belong here among the poor." 3 days later, on the 10th of June 1936, at the age of 74, Gaudí has died. Barcelona truly mourned the great architect. Gaudí was buried beside the La Sagrada Familia. Architects today are still trying to finish this beautiful church, although it is becoming quite difficult, especially since the existing copy of blueprints were destroyed in 1938 during the Spanish Civil War. But as of 2007, the completion of the church is set for 2086.